Today we're going to recreate this Home of the Brave platter. We're going to start with the rim here and blending the two colors together. So we'll start with Red Blaze and Peachy Keen. And we're going to pour a little bit into the middle here because we're going to need more paint than the little guys will carry. So just going to dip your sponge into the paint like this so that you have a little bit of each color on either side of the sponge, and then you're going to run the sponge around the rim of the plate and it'll give you that already kind of ombre look. Then you can just dip back in to get more paint on the sponge and just keep going around the rim. Okay, now we're going to sketch on our flag. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, now we're going to paint the background of the platter around where we're going to paint the flag. So we're going to use Little Boy Blue and Bebop in Blue to paint the background of the platter. So we will put a little bit in here, right next to each other, because we're going to mix a little bit again. And then we'll take our large square brush and we'll start with the Little Boy Blue. And they're just long, quick strokes. Paint around the flag. And then as you start getting closer to your outer edge, you can add in a little bit of the Bebop in. Now that we have the background on our platter, we're going to fill in the stripes on the flag. So you can just go ahead and draw your stripes out. We'll take a red Fun Rider and squeeze to fill in. And then just scribble. Alright, so now we have our stripes on there, and we are going to paint this little blue part here and then paint our flagpole on. So this portion of the flag is going to be done with the Bebop in Blue again, and you can use a small round brush to fill that in. So I'm going to turn it to make it a little easier for me to work with, and I'm just going to fill in this little square here. We'll let that dry for a second, and we're going to want to do 3 coats on that area of the flag. So while we're waiting for that to dry, we'll do our flagpole, and then we'll kind of alternate back and forth and add coats of paint to each one. So I think I want to use the same round brush here. So we'll just rinse this out. And we're going to use Hi-Ho Silver for the flagpole. So let's get our brush nice and loaded up. Start up here. It's going to come all the way down over the rim. Add another coat to our Bebop in Blue. Into the flagpole. Once we have our flag painted, we're going to put the text on the platter. This one says Home of the Brave, so with the number 2 pencil you can just sketch out your letters. You want to be pretty light handed with it. So for the writing on this platter, we're going to use a liner brush, just a long, skinny, bristled brush, and some black paint. We're going to want to get our brush nice and loaded with paint, about like this. And then you're just going to start at the top and pull towards you in just one smooth stroke. I like to use my other hand as a bridge. It steadies my hand so that my letters are not shaky. So now that we have our letters on the plate, we're going to put the fireworks around the rim of the plate. You can use your number 2 pencil to kind of draw where you'd like them to go. I'm definitely going to plan to put a blue one right here because I have a couple little spots. So we'll just incorporate that into my firework. And then you're going to use that same brush that you used for the writing to do the fireworks. So we get a couple red. And again, it's just a long, skinny stroke. And then you can add little dots. Now that we've painted each of our fireworks 3 times, we're going to take the white puffy paint and add some stars into the flag and some scribbles into the white sections of the flag as well, and then over the letters. So for the puffy paint, you want to make sure you have a good working puffy paint. And again, I like to bridge and steady my hand. You're going to let it touch down, and then you're going to sort of let it fall. You can shake it down like a thermometer so all the paint gets to the tip. That way it won't bubble on you. You're going to move kind of slow and keep steady pressure on the bottle. And you can add some little dots. We'll do a couple of those. Okay, great. So now we'll move on and we're just going to make a squiggle right in this stripe of the flag there. So this you can actually touch down onto the bisque like we did with the Fun Writer when we had it angled, and that'll make it easier for you just to go kind of quickly with a nice smooth scribble. So there we go with that. Now we're going to go over our words. I'm going to stick the paper clip back into the tip of the puffy paint just to make sure that it's not going to get wiggly. And we'll go right over the letters. Okay, now that we have the white puffy paint on there, we're going to do our inner rim with the back end of a number 2 pencil, and we're just going to alternate our colors. So I'm going to start with the lightest blue. We're going to have a total of 4 different colors all the way around, so we'll just leave a little bit of space in between each one and go around the platter. You'll want to dip your pencil into the paint each time you make a dot to keep the size consistent. Okay, now we're going to put the next shade of blue, and we'll just go all the way around and put them right next to the dots we just made. Now that we have all the pencil dots around the inner rim, we're going to go ahead and add all the black detailing to the piece. So we're going to start on the inside of the plate and outline the flag. Okay, now I'm going to add black funwriter to all the fireworks. So just a line right in the middle of the painted line. And a couple little stars at the tips. And then we're just going to add a black funwriter line to the inner rim along the pencil dots. And you can break that up when you run into your fireworks. We're going to add a few dark blue dots to the inside here and then put a black rim on the edge and we'll be finished. So we're just going to take the bottom of a paintbrush, a small paintbrush, and dip it into our Bebop in blue and then just make small dots in the background of the plate. Now using the rounded edge of a sponge, we're going to sponge the rim of the plate with the black paint. So just go ahead and apply some paint to the edge of the sponge, press it right up against the edge of the plate, and just run down the length of the platter. You'll want to do this 3 times to make sure that the rim is solid. I'm just going to go back through and add a little bit more red. I'd like my stripes to look a little more solid, so I'm just going to add a bit more red in some of the areas where I feel like there's too much white showing. And now we have our finished piece, and we'll glaze and load it, and then it will look like this.